Coming up on this episode of the Spiro Podcast.
Your mindset as a business owner is the single most thing that you can improve that is going to get you where you want to go. Let me say that one more time. Your mindset and education of that mindset is the single most important thing to you reaching your goals as a business owner.
Welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magrum.
Hi, and welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is it's a software platform. It's designed to really help you manage your day-to-day real estate media business and ultimately help it grow and scale if that's your goal. Welcome back. We had a week off here in the last week, and just glad to be back at it. My name's Craig Magrum, host of the podcast, and each and every week with us, of course, Spiro owner and founder and co-host of the podcast, Todd Kivimaki. Welcome back, Todd.
Craig, it is great to be back. I am energized. The sun is shining, and man,
finally,
I'm ready to go. Yes. Ohio was just in a bit of a mood for a while.
No joke. I was going to start building a ship out back just in case.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a bad idea.
My backyard, literally, it is a swamp. It holds water horribly. So anyway, lots of rain here. But yeah, sun shining today at least, and we're happy for that and glad to have you guys along. So Todd, we had a week off. You had some vacation time. I was getting my nerd on at the Dayton Hamvention last week.
Oh, the Mecca. Oh,
the
Craig.
Mecca of,
okay,
yeah.
So fill us in here. I did not see the signal. I was in Florida and I looked up and maybe it traveled that far. Maybe I didn't know to look for it. But what conspired?
Just a lot of nerdiness. A bunch of amateur radio operators from all over the world. Probably 30,000 plus people there in Xenia, Ohio. It used to be in Dayton, but just lots of fun nerd stuff. It's my yearly Mecca pilgrimage.
They've exiled you to Xenia.
All right. Well, it used to be held in Hera Arena in Dayton.
Okay.
Well, actually, I guess that was Trotwood, but that place was literally falling apart. Got hit by a tornado at least twice, I think. And they literally demolished it. It's just a big empty lot now. So they had to find a new place for it. And it's now at Greene County Fairgrounds in Xenia, Ohio.
Nice.
So, yeah. But nice. Okay, real quick. Those of you on listening can't see this, but here was my large purchase. There we go. You might see that.
Oh.
Do you have any idea what that is, Todd?
That is it's Morse code?
It is.
Oh my goodness.
That is called, those are called iambic paddles. It's a double paddle key for Morse code. Wow.
The new version. It's kind of like the new Samsung or the new iPhone. That's the new.
I wouldn't call those new. Those aren't new. I mean, it's new to me. It's a new unit, but anyway, okay. Let's get back to it. That was my nerd moment for the day. Thank you for indulging. If any of you are amateur radio operators, I would love to work you on the air someday.
Yes.
Okay.
We had a couple people last time you announced that. They messaged in. So yeah.
We did. Yeah.
Email us your bat signal and Craig will get a hold of you.
I will. Send me your call sign. We'll schedule.
I'm sorry, your call sign.
Here's the lingo. We'll schedule. Okay. And
that's great.
Those of you listening, blank look on Todd's face right now.
Wow.
Okay.
You know.
You do. Let's get into the podcast. I got to get this train back on the rails.
Nobody's listening right now. Okay, let's bring them back.
Okay, so our topic this week, actually a listener-generated question and something we've talked about, but it's been quite a while. So I'm excited to answer this. Ramandeep sent in a question about how to approach brokerages and gain some traction. So the great topic, Ramandeep, and we're looking forward to answering that. But before we do, Todd, let's dive into, we just had a major new release and drop for Spiro. Tell us a little bit about that and then also what's coming up.
Yeah, we sure did. So some things. So you all should have received an email from me with those updates. Just want to give you the highlights so that you know, and I'm putting this in your brain so more or less you can let your clients know. These are great things to pack into your newsletter coming up. Y'all ask us a lot of time like, hey, do you consistently do a newsletter? Yes, we do. We have for many years, and we see value in doing that. So the first big thing is you all have received a beautiful refresh to the marketing content. It's a complete revamp. The old is gone and the new is in, and it has all of the goodies that you want and have asked for. So the biggest one is video reels. That is in there. That is included. There's 4 nice templates for us to begin with. It's in there, and your clients can take the beautiful listing photos that you've created and turn those into an MP4 reel to have a sizzle and capture attention online. The biggest thing, and let your clients know this, is that the algorithm wants video. So if they post video to a social channel, just naturally and organically, that post is going to get more views because social knows that viewers interact with video more. Thus, it shows them to them more so that they in turn can make more money off of them. But it works. So if you tell your clients that, sell the value, give them, become the expert, that's a way to insert yourself and to be more sticky with your clients. Now, the second thing that your clients receive as well, and this is agent facing, are property analytics pages. So we've created a beautiful page to show the number of views for photos, referring links, number of clicks on the property websites. And that is available live in your system. Also, your agents or you can create a reoccurring weekly email that goes out to the homeowners that tells them and gives them the report, shows them the updates. So those are
cool.
Yeah, those are
That's
two great agent sells. It's a great time to put it out to your agents to show how you bring more value and how they can benefit their clients from the content inside of your system.
That's excellent, because anything an agent can do to differentiate themselves from another realtor, maybe they're in a competitive situation, that goes to build their business and their brand. So this is a great tool for you to also differentiate yourself from other photographers that maybe aren't positioning themselves as marketing consultants. You are. It's all about helping them build their brand.
Yeah. And Craig, one important thing you said there is that it's a way that the way that you market the content. So it's a little bit different. The fact you might say, well, competitors around me, they use Spiro and they have the same thing. And I hear this from many of you. And like, hey, I started using Spiro 3 years ago and it was different for me. And now my competitors have it. Well, the thing is do your competitors actually market it? Do they what's the communication? We're going to talk about communicating to a broker, and we all can try to do it. Why are we successful at WOW, and why have we done it for 20 years? Well, it's because we know how to communicate it and we're consistent with it. So we're going to help you with those things. But the big thing is don't say, hey, I'm not going to send out the newsletter because all my competitors use it. No, that is even more of a reason. You just market it better.
Right.
And let your agents know, and you be the source of the knowledge, and that keeps your clients sticky to you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can provide education to your clients on how to get the most out of the delivery system that you're giving them, that's just going to cement you in their brains as a real value add and an asset to their team. And that's the way you want them to see you, as part of their team, not a contractor, not a photographer. You are part of their marketing team and helping them build their individual real estate business. That's the approach I try and take, and it's paid off, So anyway, good stuff. Great updates, Todd. Those are super exciting. Yeah, go ahead.
One more I wanted to mention just on it very quickly, because it's and there was more updates. There was 9 of them that went out in the email. The other one that many of you asked for is, hey, can you notify my editors when the files are uploaded, not when I complete the job in the portal? And you now have that option. So just wanted to mention it because many of you wanted that, and we want to give it to you, and it's in there.
Perfect. Sounds good. All right. Huge release. We were really excited to let this one out into the into the wild here. What's coming up for the next release, Todd?
Yeah, so we have some exciting things coming up for the next release. We have, well, I guess you asked, so I was just going to give so some things with release. I mean, we're about 6 to 8 weeks away from the next release, but I'll give you a little bit. You guys are all great to us, so let me give you a little insight as to what we're doing. We are working on, first off, a new property website. It's designed, it's done. We are coding it in the background. So it's a beautiful design. It's going to give you some new functionality on the property website. I'm not going to tell you what that is yet, but some new functionality on there. Again, I'm trying to beef up your newsletter. I'm trying to beef up your features and benefits that you give to agents. These are all things, and every agent's looking for something a little bit different. A lot of them have property websites, but for those that don't, they're going to love this new design. So that's what we're always thinking about with updates. I'll give you one more, Craig, and then we'll save the rest for a future update. But, and this is a biggie, and we're excited about it, and many of you have asked for it, but we're going to give you those admin options on the order page that you've asked for. So many of you say, hey, when I place an order, I just want to override the price on the order page. I just want to override the date and time on the order page. You can do that now. It's a two-step process. I know I value your guys' time. I know how important it is to really focus on your time. This will minimize the time needed to do a couple different actions. We'll compile it all into one. So those admin overrides for the order page, those will be coming as well.
Okay, perfect. Good stuff. And just a little bit of a teaser. Keep you coming back, right?
Yeah. Twisting my arm, Craig.
There you go. There you go. All righty. Well, thank you for those updates, Todd. Exciting stuff. And we're just going to dive into this week's topic, approaching brokerages, which can always be a challenge, especially if you're somewhat introverted or you're just nervous about getting out there and showing up at the front desk of a brokerage office or whatever. But Ramandeep wrote in, and Todd, you want to introduce this one, his question?
So Ramandeep asked me on Facebook, he said, wherever the market slows down, I wonder how you reach out to brokerages. I tried reaching out a few and the response is not great. I'm working hard on my content to make sure my content stands out. And I also get many referrals. So he wanted to know as to the approach he can take to get to the broker deals. Now, we talk about broker deals a lot. In fact, when we launched this podcast years ago, it's the first thing we talked about. And it's probably the number one talk that I do. And it's actually maybe a little bit deceiving that I talk about it so much. And I want to explain that because it's not that it's not possible, but it's the whale. Okay. So I've been listening a lot to Alex Hormozy lately, and he has this minnow and whale, and he uses this terminology. And anytime you try to get a whale, it's just going to take time. Looking back over the course of WOW, some of the broker deals that we have took years and years to get. Okay. And we have a strategic way that we work broker deals, and I'm happy to share that with you today. But I wanted to make sure that I communicate to you that this is not something that you're going to time block for a month and you're going to get one. Now, it can happen, and it does happen. There's a couple that fell into my lap. There's a couple that I signed because I signed a competitor and I leveraged the competitor off of the first broker deal. So we'll go into all that, but I at least want you to understand that if you're saying, hey, Todd, I've been trying this for 90 days, I've been trying this for 365 days, that's okay. This is a slow burn and it's a big payoff. I think our longest is actually 4 years, Craig, literally 4 years with a company. And it took a lot of time and it was a very big deal. So I just wanted to start there to give you guys a perspective. I'm always trying to give you guys that perspective because I think there's so much pressure out there in the world. And if you look at us with WOW, you might go, how do you do 13,000 a year? Well, I did 13,000 a year because it's been 21 years. And honestly, I'm a little bit of an underachiever because it took me 21 years to get to 13. Why am I not doing 30,000? Okay, so it's all perspective. Craig, we had Simon on a few weeks ago, and he gave a book title, The Gap and the Gain, I believe is what it's called. And so I downloaded, I was like, that's very interesting. And the author goes to talk about the idea of, do you live in the gap or do you live in the gain? And without going into the whole book, and I just got through like 2/3 of the book, but the idea is living in the gap is you saying, I don't have a broker deal. Okay. So where you're at today versus where you want to go, that portion is the gap. The thing that you're forgetting and what our brains do is the portion below that, where you started versus where you are today. That is what the author refers to as what you have gained. You have gained that. And you've all gained something. Okay. But what our brains don't like to do is our brains don't like to wait, and our brains don't like to remember that. We want instant gratification, and we always want to move the goalpost. That's super unhealthy to do. Since reading this book, I have been trying to apply that in every part of my life. Anytime I'm unhappy, I go, Todd, why are you unhappy? What is so bad about your life?
Oh, wow.
And for me, okay, let me use an example outside the industry. I'm a dad. Craig, you're a dad. I coach basketball. You guys know this. I spend a lot of time coaching basketball. I'm at the very end of AAU season, which the season begins with middle school basketball. I coach middle school basketball. And then it goes into middle school, practices, trials, the season. All along the same time, I'm coaching youth basketball, 2 more teams. So I arrange the league, I do all that coaching. And then I go into, once middle school's done, I have youth season that goes a little bit longer. And then once I'm out of youth season, I do school tournament teams. And then once I'm out of school tournament teams, I do AAU basketball. So I'm at the very end of basketball. And quite frankly, I'm ready to be done with basketball. But I'm going, wait a minute, Todd, why do you have this thinking? Okay, my oldest is 12, almost 13. And Craig, we're starting to see that transition to a teenager. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, wait a minute, this is my sweet Todd, little, yeah.
I'll be in prayer for you.
Yes, thank you, Craig. Thank you. So yes, it's and that's what we're seeing. I have the sweetest 12-year-old right now, and he is eloquent in speaking and he's caring. But there's some things he says where it's like I think his mom's going to reach across and just slap him. And I'm like, just do it, Jessica. Like, it would really shock him. But but my point is, like, there's some things it's like, wait a minute, that wasn't the sweet little 5-year-old we used to have. And overall, he's a great kid. I love him to death, love all my kids. But my point is there's going to be a point in my life where I would die to go back to getting our butts kicked at AAU basketball in May of 2025. So when we're going through that and I'm frustrated and he's frustrated and we're growing and we're losing basketball games, I don't like to lose, y'all. I'm a pretty competitive person.
No.
I go, what? Yeah, me, Craig, right?
No.
I am saying to myself, Todd, why are you living in the gap? The gap of winning these games, the gap of being done, the gap of having free time. No, you don't want that. Live in the gain. Look at how far he's gotten with basketball. Look at how far I've gotten with coaching. I used to be a terrible coach. When you start, you kind of just like try to figure some things out. So I am trying to live in the gain in every uncomfortable portion that I exist in. And just real quickly here, and then we're going to get to the podcast, but I think this is so important because your mindset as a business owner is the single most thing that you can improve that is going to get you where you want to go. Let me say that one more time. Your mindset and education of that mindset is the single most important thing to you reaching your goals as a business owner. And if you can begin to live in the gain and not the gap, that's going to put you in a spot where you need to go. Craig, I'm in James right now, and this will give me 30 seconds, y'all. But in James, he talks about suffering and finding joy through suffering. And I'm like, James, you are one crazy man. Like, let me sit here in pain. But it's so true. And the people that he wrote to in that day, they were suffering. And nothing like what I feel like I'm suffering now in 2025 in America. But there is joy, and joy produces perseverance that then turns into knowledge and us understanding. And I think that is so true. And if you're not spiritual, if you don't believe in God, this is true no matter what you think, that through pain, you are going to learn. Okay. I believe Les Brown said, if in life, if you do what is easy, life will be hard. And then he said, alternatively, if you do what is hard in life, it becomes easy. Life becomes easy. So I just want to leave you with those thoughts. If what you're doing is hard right now, you are growing, you are learning, and you are paving the way for life to become easy.
Can I add one thing to that?
Please.
The mindset thing is just what has been sticking out to me. And I think back to that book that you mentioned a long time ago on the podcast, Soundtracks by
John Acuff. Yes.
Yeah. So what I've discovered, I mean, I've rediscovered this every time it happens, is I can get in a bad pattern of thinking where I'm down on myself. I lose motivation, or I'm dealing with anxiety, things like that. And you get this vicious cycle of thinking. I don't want to say catch-22, but and it just keeps spiraling. And when it spirals, it's usually when you're by yourself. So not only is the mindset important, but whether you are isolated or in a group that can surround you, that can help break that cycle and speak something different into your mindset, I think that's as important, as critically important as just realizing that you need to change your mindset. You've got to have a positive community of people around you that will challenge that cycle of thinking that you're stuck in. And that's what I deal with, is I can get in a bad cycle of thinking. But I find, like, say I'm having trouble with sales, or I've lost motivation to get out and approach a brokerage, which is what Ramandeep is talking about. I find, like, if I check in with Chris, our sales manager, it will help snap me out of that, because he will bring a perspective that I'm not thinking about and not having my thoughts spiral around. So having Chris and Steve, who not only are my supervisors, my managers, but also friends, because they just have a good way of dealing with me as an employee of WOW, where we can laugh about some stuff. And yes, there's goals and challenges and accountability, but they're friends as well, that I trust them to speak good things into my life, to keep me motivated, get me out of that cycle of thinking. Because I'm up here in Bowling Green, Ohio, working out of my home office, managing my territory. Yeah. Chris is down in Columbus. Our home office is in Lima. Steve is down there in Lima. So I don't get to interact face to face with these guys. And that can be isolating. And you might be, as an owner, a lot of times I think owners can be isolated, because
for sure
it's lonely at the top sometimes. So if you can make a concerted effort to find a community of people, and hopefully this podcast can be part of that for you, to help you get out of that vicious cycle of thinking that maybe is holding you back from what your goals are in your business, I think you'll find a lot of value in that. But you got to be purposeful in finding those people that will speak life into your life.
Craig, thank you for sharing. It couldn't be any more true. And put that as your top priority if you're struggling with that right now. If you don't have that, please put that. Also, another thing is, if you have some people in your life that sends you down the wrong path, you need to get them out of your life. Yeah. Get them out today. You just need to.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to set boundaries and choose who's going to add value to your life and who's going to drain it.
Yeah.
So
thanks for sharing, Craig.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Craig, going after brokerages. Yeah, brokerages. To Ramandeep's question and many of your questions as well. So let me just take you through a timeline of how I signed some of the brokerage deals that we have. Now, I got out of college and I basically created this idea of a brokerage deal because I wanted a guaranteed income. And the way that I did it 20 years ago is not the way that we do it today. So, but the idea and the thinking is the same. So I had been photographing. My English is not Englishing today. I've been shooting for a client in my hometown. Yeah, thank you. Just it's a bumper sticker.
Photographing. I might have to make a bumper sticker.
Yes.
Like that. Hey, we're just gonna. If we can't find the right term, we're gonna make up our own. Darn it! And
hey,
you're gonna. Hey, we have videographers, right?
Yeah, videographers. Yeah, that's what we do in Ohio. We just make up the terms.
Ohio, Southern Ohio. Anyway, okay.
So I had been working with the same client for a couple of years, and a lot of the agents used me, and I had built relationships with them. They knew me. I knew them. I was familiar with the broker. Okay. So she knew me because I was using so many of their agents were using me to do videos that just naturally I got to know her. And then, so first thing is I built a relationship with them, and I had their top agents. So the keys to getting to a broker deal are going to be building a relationship, but honestly, building a relationship with the top or the most influential agents.
Mm-hmm.
Those are typically the same, but they're not always the same people.
Right.
There's been some times where we've walked into a meeting and we've had the top agent at the company, and the top agent gives us an endorsement and nobody really turns ahead. And then you have the most influential agent, who's not the top agent, say something and everybody goes, oh, wait a minute, they're using you? Okay. So that's the thing. You have to make sure you know who holds the voice in the office. The way that you do this is if you honestly just go to one office meeting, you can get an idea of who is the most vocal. Okay. So in that environment, they're typically the people that speak the most, give the most suggestions, criticizations, whatever it may be, but they're the most vocal in the office meeting. So for my first brokerage deal, I had these people. I had the most influential and the largest, and I began to build a relationship with the broker. So at that point, when I asked for a meeting with the broker, I received it. Okay. And now I think that's the hill, right, Craig, to get over, is a lot of us are saying, hey, how do I get to the broker? Okay. So that one just took time, and it's going to take time. So if you don't have the most influential or the largest, go get those, find out who they are, give them an offer so good they can't say no, so that you begin working with them, and then they will get you to the broker. If you say, hey, how are they going to get me the broker? Just ask them.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Craig?
Yeah.
I mean,
just be direct.
I think back so many times over the past 20 years where I didn't ask anybody because I was afraid to get my feelings hurt.
Yeah.
Craig, you and I, we don't like to get our feelings. We're both the same in that way. Like each of us I don't like my feelings hurt. You don't like your feelings hurt. Like I'd be like, oh man, like I'd be a sad puppy when I got rejected.
Yeah. I think though, the older I've gotten, the less I've been afraid to get the no, because I finally found something I enjoy doing. I know the value in it, whether somebody sees the value or not. And so, yeah, I might get a no, and that might be a good thing. It might be a problem or challenging client that would take a lot of your time and energy. So you love what you do, the value of what you're offering, and you just be confident in that. There was something I was going to say, Todd, and now I just totally blanked out, but it was piggybacking on something you had just said. It'll come back to me.
Well, one thing that you said, that sometimes you have to get through the no's to get to the yeses. Yeah. I know that's a very cliche sales term, but let me break that down slightly. If there is a gap between you getting the sale, getting the broker deal, you have to know what that gap is. And if you don't get a no and don't ask, then how you could have earned the business, what you could do differently, what might work for them. You have to ask questions. I was on a coaching call yesterday, and an individual, I know him well, he wouldn't mind that we mentioned him on the podcast, but Tatsi McKissick, he said, hey, the more I listen to you and Eli, I realize that you guys ask a lot of questions. And I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to build that into everything I do. And I did not do that for many years because I had an ego and I believed I had all the answers. It was a very stupid thing that really restricted us growing, is that I thought I had all the answers. And then I became the source for getting the answers. And then nobody wanted to do anything because they needed Todd's answer. And I did not empower them to come up with their own answer. I became the bottleneck. And if you find that you are the bottleneck or you're the source of information, your company's only going to grow so big before you get out of your own way and you empower others. So the idea of asking questions with a broker is, if you get with the broker, or say you ask that influential question, that influential agent, for a meeting with the broker, and say they say no. Okay, so this is a learning opportunity. I would say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Influential Agent, could you let me know what I could do to earn your trust so that you refer me to the broker? I have an idea that I think can benefit you and them. And I just want to know how I can earn your trust for that referral. I don't take that referral lightly. What could I do to earn your trust?
Yeah. The thing I forgot that I just came back, it's a very simple concept. It's from scripture, but it's universally applicable. You have not because you ask not. That's simple.
Yeah.
If you don't ask, you're never going to get it. And yeah, you might get the no, but you might get the yes. And asking the questions, how can I earn your trust? Or what, Mr. or Mrs. Agent, let me ask you this. What is your brokerage's goal in marketing? What is it? What's something that you've been looking for in a vendor to help you with this that you have not found yet? And maybe you don't offer whatever it is that they give you the answer to, but that will spur an idea for you to then develop that idea or develop that solution that you can then come back and say, hey, I listened to what you had to say about what your goal is, and I've done some brainstorming, and I think I have some ideas that I'd like to run past you. Run it past that realtor and say, is this something that might be of value? Is this something we can talk to the broker about? Ask the question, get what it is that they're looking for that maybe you don't currently provide, but something that you could do.
Yeah. That's such a great insight. That's such great insight there, Craig, as to how to get there, and just ask the question. I think one of the things in sales, and I screwed up on this, is many times I would go into these presentations and you're always a little nervous, right? You're always a little nervous. I meet with one of our clients at WOW, just one, and it's our largest client, and it's a relationship that I've had for over a decade. So I'm still the key person on this account. And it's one meeting a year, but every time I go in and meet with him, I'm a bit nervous. And I actually know him really well. Like, I have a friend relationship with him. Like, it's a friendly environment, but I'm nervous when I go in there.
What, Todd, can I ask why? Why are you nervous? If you have the friend relationship and you've had that long of a relationship, what makes you nervous, if you don't mind sharing?
He's a very intelligent individual. And I'll use a saying that a coach gave to me is, even when the lion's out to play, the lion can always bite your head off.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
So I go in prepared because I respect him, and I know that I'm going to look stupid if I don't go in prepared.
So you're going in not taking that friendship for granted.
Yes,
is what's sticking out to me on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I respect him. I respect his time. I respect what he's done for us for the last 11 years. And honestly, Craig, he comes in the same way. Now, he's not nervous for it, but he respects the relationship. He referred us to a huge client about a year ago. I would have never had this in my Rolodex. And this is a person that he is very familiar with. It's another very large broker in this company. And I had earned that. And I began to see the fruits of that harvest. We're not on about referrals today, but that is the way you're going to get to the broker. But at some point, when you plant your seed and you nurture it, the crop grows. If you don't harvest the crop is going to die.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me bring that into the terms of this relationship. Now, the relationship won't die if I don't ask for a referral. But the thing is I am wasting crop, if you will, if I don't ask for the referral. Again, the worst he could say is no. So I think you have to ask, and I think you have to get into the habit of feeling that rejection. It becomes easier. Trust me, if Craig and I can do it, you can do it. I'm the person that would dial the phone number and I would hang it up 10 times. I'd pace my office. I would go through what I was going to say. I'd dial the number, hang it up again. So you can do it. That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Craig. So to get back to, let's break down some of this question from Ramandeep. He says in his question, can you give me an approach, or what are some approaches I can take to enter into a brokerage? So what are some things that you do, Craig, to get into those relationships?
Well, I mean, it's all based off what you already mentioned about having, as a client, the most influential or a top agent at that brokerage and having a good relationship with them. Every brokerage will have a weekly or at the very least a monthly meeting of some sort where most times they have a vendor come in and give a presentation. I asked that top agent or influential agent if there was a way to come and be a presenter at one of their meetings. And if they're a fan of what it is that you're doing for them, they'll 99% of the time they'll say yes. So when you're able to then make that presentation, maybe you still haven't talked to the broker, but you're able to come in and make that presentation, you start to show up on the radar. It might, again, it's just going to take time to build, what's the word I'm looking for? Rapport, familiar. I can never say that word. They're getting
just make one up. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, familiarity. And to think I used to be in broadcast radio. Just getting people familiar with you and leadership familiar with you, where you can start to show your value and what separates you, what distinguishes you from other people in the same space. People buy from people they know. So there's the rapport part. They know, they like. You got to be personable. A lot of times, Todd, when I give a presentation, I don't start with information about the company. I start information about myself and my family, because my family is really important to me. So I've got a picture of myself, my wife, and my two boys, and how long I've been married, how old my kids are. That makes me human right off the bat. Okay. We're humans first. We all have, families or loved ones or interests or hobbies, things that make us who we are, right? And I list some of my hobbies, and my background being radio, I crack a joke about, hey, if my voice cracks or I get a little nervous, it's because I spent 20 years working in radio, talking into a microphone in an empty room to a blank wall. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to turn around this way, and that usually get, so just breaking the ice. I'm not a naturally funny person. I'm really not.
That's a good one, Craig.
But well, it's me. My background is my radio. So I'm trying to get them familiar with me, and that, okay, I'm not a threat. I'm not a slimy salesperson just here, to try and sell you. But I love what I do. So rapport building, being you. Don't try and put on an air that's not authentic to who you are. So presentations, asking that influential or top agent that is currently your client if there's an opportunity to come present. That builds rapport, that gets you familiar with the broker. So there's one way. So approach number 2, a lot of times brokerages will have special events that they do throughout the year, and they're looking for sponsors. Now, I, being a fiscally conservative person, other than when it comes to ham radio, which I seem to have an issue with. I don't like
Sounds
to
like a
spend,
confession.
I don't like to spend money, right? But I learned when I got into this business, you have to spend money to make money, right?
Yeah.
It was a confession, Todd. I didn't tell Gail how much I spent on this Morse code key, but if she asks, I will tell her. But she didn't ask. Anyway, you got to spend.
A long time ago, they threw millions of those away, Craig, when they did away with that technology.
You know what's funny about that? Old ham radios are literally called boat anchors because they were big and heavy. You might as well just chuck them off the side of the boat. Anyway, you got to spend money to make money. Not in the amateur radio hobby. It's just spending money. But sponsor an event, a brokerage event. Mm-hmm. Be at those events. Todd, I've got a brokerage up here in Toledo that we are not the preferred vendor. Okay. One of the three brokers has a personal friendship with the preferred vendor that is out of a different state, mm-hmm. but we do more business with them from what I can tell, based on what some of the agents that use us have told me. We sponsor their Cinco de Mayo event every year, even though we're not the preferred vendor. And it's because we do a lot of business with this company, even though we're not the preferred vendor. And because we support what they're trying to do as a brokerage and raising funds for the Children's Miracle Network. It's a good, worthy cause. It gets our logo and our name and shows that we're still a part of this brokerage. We're still bringing value to this brokerage, even if we're not the preferred vendor. And it allows me to have FaceTime at that fundraising event as well and continue to build those relationships. And we've gotten referrals from agents that use us, and business has been built. I'm going to brag a little bit, if that's okay, Todd.
Please.
We did a higher level sponsorship than the preferred vendor did for this event. Our package that we gave to the silent auction was worth more and was a larger donation. We're going to do everything we can to support that brokerage, to show our value. I show up consistently. That broker that has the friendship with this other vendor, she spoke with me, said, "Hey, thank you so much. We really appreciate your support. And I know you bring a lot of value to many of our realtors." And mm-hmm. it was a great, cordial conversation. So even if you're not the preferred vendor, you can still have a major relationship with that broker and that brokerage, and bring value to what they're doing and grow your business at the same time. So yeah. I've got the broker knows me. They know that we're working hard for their agents, and they respect that. They're appreciative of the fact that we sponsor their event. So presentations, brokerage presentations, and sponsor their events, if assuming it's in your budget.
Yeah, those are great things. It reminds me of a phrase of a coach that I work with. I'm on a coaching call weekly with him, Austin Chevron, and I have it written down here. He says, "If you want to earn more, you need to be more valuable." Mm. If you want the referral, you need to be more valuable. If you ask for the referral and you don't get it, you need to give more. You tried to take pennies out of the jar when you didn't put enough pennies in. And that's what a relationship is. That's what business is about. It's not about you being the most professional. Ramandeep, one thing you say in here, and I'm going to say this with love, is you say you're working on making your content stand out. It's not about making your content stand out. You just need to put more pennies in the jar before you take pennies out. And once you have enough in the jar, you can ask for it, and you've earned that trust. You've put in the time, you've given more value, and you will get it back out.
Another listener had messaged me and said, "Hey, I had this client that I thought was a solid client, and I'm going to summarize this, but they ended up using someone else for a major project, and they were just kind of left flat-footed. Like, what happened? Why should I even bother to keep doing this and try to build the relationship?" People are people. And sometimes they're going to disappoint you. And yeah, you might have put a lot of work into the relationship. I've had that happen where, I thought I had a good, solid relationship. I follow up. I try to get the question as to the why. What can I have done better to keep your business? You might get an answer. You might not. And if you don't, well, people are people. And we do let each other down. We do disappoint each other now and then. But you can't let that stop you from continuing to try. And there are people that will value that relationship with you. I've got agents that they have inside marketing departments that they could use and that their brokerage is pressuring them to use. And they've told me straight to my face, I will never use our inside marketing department. You do what we need you to do. We value the relationship and we appreciate you. And I've got them for life. Now I don't get cocky about that. I don't take that for granted. I have to, every day, I have to continue to earn that trust and earn that loyalty that they have to us as their vendor. So don't give up. Even if somebody kind of burns you, don't let that sour you guys.
Yeah. And the toughest thing about it is I would advocate that you continue to give to them.
Yeah.
It's going to be the hardest thing is you see that they use a competitor and you thought you had that relationship. Just keep giving to that client.
Yeah.
It will come back.
It's taking the high road, you know, and the professional road. So excellent. Well, Todd, I think that kind of covers it. I'm not sure what else to say.
It does. It takes time to build relationships. Again, you get me 21 years in the business and we have, a ton of brokerage deals in these relationships, but it took a long time to build these relationships. Yeah. And the space is much more competitive too. So it takes even longer to build a better relationship with someone. I've got the relationship with this individual for 11 years. Could someone build a better relationship? Yes, they could. It's going to take a little while, and I'm actively building it too. You just need to continue to build, plant the seeds. I love this harvest analogy. You have to plant the seeds and you have to nurture them before you can take the harvest.
There you go. Good insight. Ramandeep, thank you for the question. It was an excellent question. And that really gets to the gist of what this podcast is all about, is building a strong business. So yeah, the creativity, obviously important, but that's ultimately not what's going to really, yes, you have to have a good, solid creative product and service, but it's the sound business principles and relationship building that you're working on that will help grow your business. And that's what we want to help you succeed in. So guys, thank you for listening. Todd, any closing thoughts or anything from you?
No, now keep building those relationships and get excited. Put good people. We covered so much today, Craig. Put good people around you, people that are excited, people that build you up and then go and do it. It makes it a lot easier too to get through those no's and to build those relationships.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. Ladies, gentlemen, don't want to just say guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We appreciate the time you take to listen or watch this podcast. If you found some value in it, we'd love a like, maybe share it with others in the community because we want to see you guys win. And if you have any comments, please leave a comment on the YouTube channel. Or if you do have questions, we haven't said that in a while. If you have a business related question that we could cover on the podcast, we're open to your ideas and would love to cover that because again, we want to bring value to you and help you build your strong business. All right. That's going to wrap it up for the week. Thank you so much. Make sure you take some time to breathe this week. Stay in the, what is it? The gap or the
gain,
the gain. Make sure, yes, you take some time to breathe, but stay in the gain and be thankful for the blessings in your life. Make sure you take a breath. Have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.